Well, well, well. It is a Monday afternoon, and the Dallas Cowboys OTAs have begun. And I've heard nothing, absolutely nothing as it pertains to OTAs. I've been kind of, as they say, scouring the internet, and I haven't seen anything. But that doesn't mean that we don't have some things to talk about as it applies to the Dallas Cowboys, because we got plenty to talk about as we start to look at these OTAs. 10 days of working out. I got the dates for the Cowboys in case you have not seen that. I think I'll pull that up first. Excuse me. I'll pull that up first, and then we'll get into our topics. But again, appreciate y'all rocking with me. Let's continue on. So let me show you the topics we have for the day. I think the topics we have for the day are absolutely outstanding. Our topics for the day, we're going to talk about Goodfellas. All right. Goodfellas. There is a duo now called the Goodfellas with the Dallas Cowboys. And then we're going to take an extensive look at the OTA storylines. The OTA storylines. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down the Dallas Cowboys roster, and we're going to look at the storylines position by position. There are a lot of storylines coming up, just a lot of storylines. Then I'm going to give you somewhat of an in-depth offensive preview of what we may expect, or what we might expect from Brian Schottenheimer. Because I want us to understand that Brian Schottenheimer is the offensive coordinator. Brian Schottenheimer is the offensive coordinator. And while our new offensive line coach we got from Arizona, he's going to be absolutely great for us in the run game. I'm going to show us something that may change our minds about what we're thinking about our run game. And then we'll conclude, and we'll see what else comes up. Maybe there'll be some other stuff come up while we're about OTAs and different things like that while we're online. But again, these are going to be our topics for the day. We are going to be talking about this Goodfellow thing, the OTA storylines by the roster, and then we're going to look at an offensive preview as it applies to one Brian Schottenheimer. And again, if there's some news to be broke while we're on the air, we'll do it. But again, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Welcome, Cowboy fans. Cowboy hitters alike, I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video or this live stream, please like, share, subscribe, and y'all continue to hit that like button on the way in. Make sure you share this content. And today we are going to talk facts. So let's get a quick roll call, and then we're going to get this thing going. We are going to get this thing going. A lot of stuff to talk about. Let's go. Roll call real fast, and then we're going to get into this. My man, the dude, he says, well. Time to kill off the Monday Blues by talking to little Cowboys. Yes, sir. Let's go. Let's go. Big Cloud in the crib. Back once again. Yes, sir. Talking about America's team. Let's go. Reading, what's up? X Jacob, yo, what's up? Yes, sir. Let's get it. Streaming, Dominique Pittman. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Ice Cold Cowboy in the crib. What's going on? He said, make sure to hit that like button. I agree with you. Yes, sir. Good to see you. Luis Ortiz, what up? Let's go. Georgie George in the crib. He said, I'm excited. Yes, sir. I am too. Ready for these OTAs. And then ready to go get to Oxnard. Cool Coleman, what's going on with you? Good to see you today. Let's go. Young Star, my guy, what up, fam? Yes, sir. Alfredo Morales, what's up? He says, what's up to the chat? Oh, Cliff Rockefeller, what's going on? Yes, sir. Let's do it. Final Hall, what's up? What's up with you? In the crib, what's going on? Again, X Jacob, he says, G, you're my favorite YouTuber, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. Eddie Lowe, in the crib, what's going on with you? Let's go. Demetrius Adams, what's up? What's up? What's going on? P Funk, great show, he says. Appreciate you. What's going on? Timothy Govan, as always, in the crib. What's going on? J Law in the crib. Let's go. And we'll greet the others as we come in. Yep. Let's get to this thing about the Rockefellers. I think this is very, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And I talked about this the other day. Here we go. CeeDee Lamb. This is the part of the equation about George Pickens that nobody is talking about. CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is going to play a huge role in, and I don't even want to call it the rehabilitation of George Pickens. I think he's going to play a huge role in helping George Pickens to mature. I mean, who better than CeeDee Lamb to really help George Pickens to mature and help him to get where he needs to be? CeeDee Lamb understands that George Pickens is going to do so much for him. I'm telling you, CeeDee Lamb is going to have a monster season. I'm not going to be surprised if both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens have 1,000-yard seasons. And I'm going to show you guys why I believe this based on some things that after doing some research, I am not going to be surprised, as I told you before, based on Brian Schottenheimer's history. So over here on, this has actually been posted on X, but Athlon Sports has it pulled up. Want to make sure I say what's up to my man Kroger's in the crib. What's going on? Yes, sir. Appreciate you. He said you got it going on. Appreciate you. Good to see you. I want to make sure we mention this over here on X. Cowboys, Athlon Sports, CowboysCountry.com. But George Pickens has posted this on his social media. George Pickens, if you'll look at the bottom there, it is captioned, Good Fellas. Yeah, anybody know anything about the Goodfellas? Boy, it's a great movie if you hadn't seen it. Older movie, but a great movie. They were gangsters. Man, they was those Italian gangsters, man. And so, man, he is basically saying, boy, they are about to do damage in this league. These boys saying they about to do damage. George Pickens is going to be great. Going to be great. Oh, I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Ice Cold. We still got a couple things to work on back here as it pertains to our background setting, but we're gonna get that going too. We're gonna get that figured out. But we got some. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. We got boy. Hey, we're gonna look different in another week. Trust me. But again, man, these dudes are saying they about to go gangster in this league, man. They about to go gangster. Big Cloud. CeeDee has stepped up and took this situation with maturity and leadership. Big Cloud. Hey, man. CeeDee Lamb understands what this means. I'm telling you, man, if this thing works out with George Pickens, it changes things. George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb is not, and I did a video about this, and I'm telling us, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb is not like Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper at that point in time was superior to CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper was superior to CeeDee Lamb. And in a sense, Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb were more, and not the same type, but more of the same type of receivers. Now, Amari Cooper, I still don't think CD is on the level of route running that Amari Cooper was in his prime. Amari Cooper in his prime, boy, see, route running? No. I don't think there are many people in the league who could touch Amari Cooper in his prime. I mean, wherever his route was, All the quarterback had to do is throw it to where he's supposed to be. You don't have to worry. Amari Cooper was going to be there. CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb, while he's a great route runner, not on the level of Amari Cooper, but again, CeeDee Lamb, I think he runs his routes, but then also I think he kind of picks and chooses. I mean, this is one of the problems that we saw, what was it, in 2022 with the option routes. Dak and CeeDee had some miscommunication early on. Then last year 2023, we saw him move to the Texas coast. But then we came back around in 2024 when CeeDee Lamb missed training camp. And it seemed like that CeeDee Lamb wasn't quite where he was supposed to be. And he definitely wasn't fighting for contested balls early on. And so, but CeeDee Lamb, like I said, he kind of finds his spots. He can run routes, but he finds his spots. And very good yards after the catch. But again, him and Amari Cooper, they were a little bit more similar. The reason why CeeDee Lamb is excited, I believe, about George Pickens. They're two totally different wide receivers. They are two totally different wide receivers. I believe CeeDee Lamb will take another step this year as it pertains to his route running. I believe he's going to take another step. He took a step in toughness last year. He took a step in leadership last year. He took a step in maturity last year. So CeeDee Lamb is coming into his own, but he's also in his prime. He was not in his prime with Amari Cooper, but George Pickens. George Pickens is closer to his prime than what CD was when he was with Amari Cooper. So George Pickens is going to benefit too. And George Pickens, while he is a route runner, he's not what people don't look at him and say, hey man, he's a great route runner. He can run routes. But where George Pickens gets you, he doesn't get you on speed necessarily. He doesn't get you on explosiveness necessarily. But where he gets you is if the ball is in his vicinity. He gets it. He is getting the ball if it's in his vicinity. George Pickens is the go-get-it type of receiver. He can go get it in the air. He can go get it with crazy acrobatic catches. His concentration level is insane. He's the jump ball. He's the contested wide receiver. He's also the dog of your team. While CeeDee Lamb is a dog, as in he's more of a finesse wide receiver, George Pickens is going to bring a little bit of that mentality that Dez Bryant had, that down and dirty wide receiver. Again, you know what I'm saying? I don't condone, bad conduct. But, last year, remember when George Pickens pulled Jordan Lewis's helmet? Yeah, you need some of that on your team. You got to be able to channel it so you don't get 15-yard penalties and take you out of scoring positions, but you want some of that tenacity and you want to channel it. So when you think about CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, this was a match made in football heaven, because when I think back, and I'm going to be talking about this, I'm going to do a video about this later in the week. But when I think about wide receiver duos, in my mind, this is only the third time in Cowboys history that I can remember that the Cowboys have what I would deem as a championship level wide receiver duo. This is only the third time. Now, for some of you who are old enough, or some of you who may not, or Dallas Cowboy history and you may be younger, but there are two championship wide receiver duos the Dallas Cowboys have had in the Super Bowl runs. In the 70s, Cowboys had two wide receivers, and 88s are always involved. So the first 88 that I remember is Drew Pearson. Drew Pearson was a nasty receiver. Absolute nasty, dirty, grungy receiver. Wasn't necessarily a burner, but his hands were sick. But he had a running mate that a lot of people don't talk a lot about. But when I was younger, I remember they used to call him Thrill Hill. Tony Hill was an absolute beast of a receiver. Drew Pearson and Tony Hill, they were hard to stop. Drew Pearson and Tony Hill were hard to stop. You could rarely shut both of them down. They were hard to stop. Not to mention the Cowboys had running games. They were hard to stop. The second championship wide receiver duo I can remember, Michael Irvin and what was the other, the tall wide receiver? Man, if I hadn't been saying it, I would have remembered it. I was just talking about it last night. Alvin Harper. I'm sorry. My mind slipped for a moment. Alvin Harper. That's the second championship wide receiver duo. He got drafted in 1991. He was the 12th overall pick. Alvin Harper was. Almost identical measurements to George Pickens. 6'3", 210 pounds. Alvin Harper was a beast of a receiver. And when you look back at his stats, Alvin Harper didn't have a lot of catches, but the yards per catch was monster. I mean, monster yards, man. This dude was a big play wide receiver, hands down. He was the perfect complement to Michael Irvin. Perfect complement. So now, if George Pickens, and we don't really have to wonder if George Pickens people have been saying stuff like, yeah, if he pans, no, we don't have to worry about him panning out because George Pickens, it's not like he fell off, and that's the reason why Pittsburgh let him go. The Pittsburgh Steelers got DK Metcalf, and because of some what they would deem as behavior issues, they were willing to depart with George Pickens, which they may regret. George Pickens, because he's a different type of wide receiver. He's the part of the game that CeeDee Lamb isn't. We have possibly another championship wide receiver duo. There has been no better, we've had no better duo since Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper. This is the best. I don't even remember who ran with Dez Bryant. And I wouldn't consider Dez Bryant and Cole Beasley a championship level wide receiver duo. Whenever you have these championship level wide receiver duos, you're going to have either have to be two big wide receivers, or one of them is big. One of them, they both can't be small. So one of them has to be big. And then they need to complement each other. You need one who is the chain mover. You need one that can run the routes. You need one that, I'm just telling you, he owns somewhat the middle of the field. And then you got to have the other one to say, hey, okay, now I need the wide receiver that can go. I just want the wide receiver that we can say, hey, just run straight down the field. We're just throwing it up. Deep fly routes, deep seam routes, deep post routes. We need that wide receiver. Now we got him. George Pickens. George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are the perfect combination. CeeDee Lamb understands what's going on. I think CeeDee Lamb fully understands what's going on. He is going to be such a relief for CeeDee Lamb. See, I told y'all this in the past. I don't know if y'all remember when I told you this. Great players. This is the part people don't understand. And a lot of people you won't get many people that admit this about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott isn't the problem. Dak Prescott isn't the problem. Great players need great players around them. And that's a fact. Great players need great players around them. You can get a great player and put him on a good team. I didn't say a great team. You can put him on a good team. You put a great player on a good team, he's going to be great. He'll do great things. You can put a great player, whatever sport, you can name it. You can put him in any, you can use this analogy in any sport. A great player will always do great things. Great things. They'll do great things in games. You know what typically happens to them, though, when they get into the playoffs and they're a great player on a good team? See, this is the part that we have not figured out, but I figured this out a long time ago. And the Green Bay game really brought it full circle to me. When I got a great player on a good team, well, it's easy to stop that team. Because all I have to do is stop the great player. And if I stop the great player on that team, well, everybody else is good to mediocre. And we got more great players than they have. Or we may even have more good players than they have. They're easy to beat. That's what's been happening to us. That's what's been happening to us since Dak Prescott. Happened some even during Tony Romo. Even during the Tony Romo era, we do not realize how easy we were to stop. Okay, stop Dez Bryant. What were we? With Tony Romo, stop Dez Bryant. What were we? We came back and we added DeMarco Murray. We became a little bit harder to stop. Okay, so all we have to do is stop one wide receiver and one running back. Got it. Easy. Easy work. The further you get into the playoffs, the easier that work becomes for certain teams. Because when a team has a great defense and you only have 2 offensive weapons, you're going to have a long day. You're going to have a long day. And this is the part people miss. It really don't matter how great your quarterback is to a degree. Because the way I stop your quarterback is I stop his weapons. I don't have to stop him. Because I stop his weapons, I stop him. That's how I stop him. I'm not even concerned about stopping him from throwing the ball as much as I'm saying, but he won't throw the ball to him. So if he doesn't throw the ball to him, then I'm going to make him hesitate. If I have to make him go to his second, his third, and if Lord forbid he goes to his fourth read, well, by that time, our quarterback pressure is going to have him running out of the pocket. And if we can get him running out of the pocket, then we can get him to make some mistakes. He'll have to throw the ball on the run, or he'll have to stop to throw the ball, and we can hit him so hard that we can fracture a bone, or we can hurt him in some kind of way. So what we don't realize is, people don't realize is, great players need great players around them to be dominant. To be dominant. Let me give you another example. How long did Deion Sanders play with the Atlanta Falcons? Everybody knew that Deion Sanders was the best defensive back in football. Everybody knew it. But why didn't Deion Sanders take the Atlanta Falcons to the Super Bowl? Well, one, he's not a quarterback. He's not a quarterback. 2, okay, he could shut down one side of the field. Okay, what about the guy who's with him? Okay, we just won't throw to his side of the field. So we'll nullify him all day long. We've already nullified him. We just won't throw to his side of the field. So guess what? The Atlanta Falcons Deion Sanders really couldn't help them in the way that you would want a player like Deion Sanders to help you. But isn't it strange what happened when Deion Sanders went to the San Francisco 49ers? And then the following season, he goes to the Dallas Cowboys. Isn't it strange how much more of an impact Deion Sanders was able to make on 2 Super Bowl level teams? Teams that had great defensive line, another great cornerback, safeties, linebackers, to where now Deion can do a little bit more than what he was doing. Now Deion can do a little bit more gambling. Now Deion can do some things because everyone else is doing their jobs and there are more great players around him. Oh man, he's going to stand out now. This is what happens when you get great players playing with great players. And this is why when you think about the Tony Romo era even, the reality was we kind of had a revolving door with the number 2 wide receiver with Dez Bryant. But I don't really remember a memorable number 2 wide receiver with Dez Bryant even. But here we are now, 2025. And the Cowboys got George Pickens to go along with CeeDee Lamb. George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, if they both just do what they've been doing, they're better than the duo that was Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb wasn't the 2023 CeeDee Lamb. I'm just telling you he wasn't. He wasn't the 2023 CeeDee Lamb. I said it in 2023. I would have loved to have kept Amari Cooper and had him with the 2023 CeeDee Lamb. But here's a question. Does the 2023 CeeDee Lamb become the 2023 CeeDee Lamb if Amari Cooper is still on the team? See, sometimes you don't really become who you need to become until you're forced to become who you become. Jerry Jones did this on purpose. Jerry Jones wanted CeeDee Lamb to be the head wide receiver. He wanted him to be that. He forced him into that role in a sense. Yeah, we're going to let go of Amari Cooper, but we're not going to replace Amari Cooper. Oh, yeah, we'll bring in Brandon Cooks, but he's not CeeDee Lamb. He's not equal. I mean, I don't even think Brandon Cooks was a good match with CeeDee Lamb. We never used Brandon Cooks the right way. He, to me, was not a complimentary wide receiver to CeeDee Lamb, but George Pickens is. And when we see this picture, Paul, let me tell you, if you've seen Goodfellas, Paul, boy, you already know what this means. Paul, even them boys was gangster in Goodfellas. Absolute gangster. Straight up gangster. So this is what he's saying in a sense. Straight up gangsters. We about to run this. The Goodfellas ran things. I'm telling you, man, this is a crazy message right here. This is a crazy message right here. Anybody who's seen Goodfellas will know what I'm talking about. My man, Intelligent Savage in the crib, appreciate you. He says, salute G in chat, next level. Gameplay is on the way. It's about to be extra exciting for our Cowboys, no doubt. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alfredo, he says, America's team moniker has nothing to do with the amount of regular season games won. It has nothing to do. Nope. Cowboys just what it is. Dagon's filthy in the crib. He said, keep it positive in the chat. Yes, sir. I feel you. Again, though, this thing with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb is bigger than we understand right now. I'm telling us. Appreciate you. Q Bale, he said, yo, G, you just dropped in, bro. He said, let's talk facts. What it do? Yes, sir. Man, I'm telling you, this thing with George Pickens is crazy. This thing with George Pickens is crazier than people think. And I know a lot of people are downplaying it. My man Daniel M in the crib. I know a lot of people downplaying it. We got to stop letting people control this narrative. George Pickens is a beast. Period. There has been no decline in George Pickens. George Pickens is a beast of a wide receiver. We don't have to look at George Pickens and say, yeah, man, this is going to be his second chance. Second chance at what? Second chance at what? Because all people are talking about is this dude's attitude. Because if we're talking about his play, no, we don't need to be talking about his play. George Pickens is a monster. Period. End of story. George Pickens comes in here and does what he do. And I can tell you right now, Dak Prescott's going to throw him the ball. We don't even have to worry. Dak's going to throw him the ball. I'm telling you, George Pickens is going to be such a relief for Dak Prescott. Last year, what messed up Dak Prescott, if you go back and watch the film, one of the things that messed up Dak Prescott, he had no confidence in any of the other wide receivers. As much as Dak likes Tolbert, Dak knows what Tolbert is. Dak is trying to make Tolbert. Dak is trying to make Tolbert like he's made some of these other receivers in the past. Dak tries to give him the ball in big moments. Dak tried to make him into the number two. But you'll notice if you look at the film last year, it was clear Dak didn't think he was a number two. Dak didn't think he was a number two. Dak Prescott will be able to drop back now with full confidence that not only will CeeDee Lamb get open, let me tell you about George Pickens. He don't have to be open. Boy, when you got a wide receiver like George Pickens, he don't have to be open. And this is one of the issues, one of the gripes, if you'll remember last season early on. Dak had an issue with CeeDee Lamb. Dak was a little bit perturbed because CeeDee Lamb would not fight through the coverages. See, they got real chippy with CeeDee Lamb last year because the word was out on CeeDee Lamb. If you rough him up a little bit, you can frustrate him. He'll get off his game. And so teams went out of their way to make sure they got a hit on CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, they got hits on him. And CeeDee Lamb wouldn't mix it up early on. He wouldn't mix it up and try to, if it was a 50-50 ball, if it was going to be contested. I mean, we can remember plays last year. CeeDee Lamb wouldn't even fight for it. He wouldn't fight for it because that's just not who he is. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just not who he is. George Pickens is that. He's that wide receiver. He doesn't have to be open. You just got to throw it to where he is. He'll go for it. He'll go for it. He'll fight through it. He'll fight through it. He will. My man Poopy D in the crib. Man, Poopy D, people got to remember how Tony Hill was. The dude was bad, man. Dude was bad, boy. He's a bad man. Tony Hill was a bad man. George, hey, bombs, absolute bombs to Alvin Harper. Troy was throwing absolute bombs to this man. Man, Alvin Harper was killing teams. Alvin Harper was killing teams. He was. And I think that Dak Prescott's going to kill teams with Pickens. He going to kill them with Pickens, man. Gee, Stephen Jones used the BS login of the player acquisition. Oh, I saw it. And I think he's saying that because I think he does plan on, I think the Cowboys post June 1st, we're going to see what they are going to do. But I think he's basically saying, Daniel, that they're keeping their eyes open because we're going to see how the Cowboys really feel about a few of these players we're going to talk about here in just a moment. But again, man, I got a video coming up on this in the future. Yeah, Poopy D, I had a mind blank for a moment. I'm going to have a video coming up about this in the future. Because I'm telling us, man, I don't think people are understanding. CeeDee Lamb is a top 3 wide receiver. Bar none. George Pickens, what? Top 10, maybe top 15 wide receiver. So when do you get the opportunity to get a top 3 wide receiver with a top 10 to 15 wide receiver? Paul, when you can get that, that's why when people talk about these wide receiver duos, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb automatically are top 5. Why? Because CeeDee Lamb is top 3. And if your wide receiver duo doesn't consist of Jefferson, Chase, your wide receiver duo automatically isn't as good as CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Automatically, because if you look at the number 1 receivers out there, CeeDee Lamb is top 3. And if you look at these other wide receivers for these other teams, they're pretty much in the same boat as what I would call George Pickens, as in top 10-ish, towards the end of the 10s, or maybe more top 15-ish, somewhere between 9 and 15. So if they're between 9 and 15, I'm taking George Pickens and putting him with the top 3 because that makes that duo automatically better. Because you think about Chase and Higgins. That's kind of where I'm putting Lamb and Pickens. Because Chase is a monster wide receiver. T. Higgins is a monster, but a different type of monster. A bigger wide receiver. They are a very good tandem too. I put CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens in that same category as those two. And I know, man, there may be some Eagle fans on here, but I'm just telling you. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, very good. Not as good as the Cowboys. Not as good as the Cowboys. And I would classify them as a great tandem. Not as good as the Cowboys. And another problem that they have, it's who their quarterback is. Uh-oh.
Yes! Here we go!
I'm not talking bad about Jalen Hurts, but you got to understand what Jalen Hurts is. If Dak Prescott is a 23 to 28 throw, because that's where I want Dak Prescott, 23 to 28 throws. Has anybody looked at the average of Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts may have a game where he throws the ball 20 times. And you think he's completing all 20 of the passes? A.J. Brown and Smith will not eat with Jalen Hurts because that's not who he is. You cannot ask. I said this last year. Jalen Hurts is the type of wide receiver. The type of quarterback. I'm sorry. Jalen Hurts is the type of quarterback. Okay, so do you need Jalen Hurts to have a 400-yard game, 350, 375-yard game? Jalen Hurts is good for that. Every 4 to 5 games. And I would say probably more every 5 games. Jalen Hurts gets you that game every 5 games. Dak Prescott, if you're talking about 300 yards, 350, 375, well, Dak Prescott will get you that 12 times out of the year if you want him to. Straight up with no problem. Dak Prescott will get you in a season. Easy. Dak will get you 10 300-yard games. Dak will get you a couple of 375. You play with him the wrong way, Dak Prescott will get you a couple of 400-yard games. And if you need him to, if you got some things going, you got some turnovers on defense, well, Dak can settle it down to, and Dak can go down to 250-ish, 275. Dak Prescott is that type of quarterback. And for that reason, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb will fare better because of Dak Prescott than a duo like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Straight up facts. Straight up facts. And if you don't believe me, go ask A.J. Brown. He'll tell you the same thing. A.J. Brown was complaining even during the Super Bowl year of not getting enough doggone enough throws. Yeah. And as long as they have Saquon Barkley, it will continue to be the same. I'm going to show you where I'm going. I'm going to show you where I'm going with this. The reason why I know this is to be true as it applies to this thing with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Junior in the crib, what's up with you? Appreciate that super chat, Junior. He said, let's not sleep on Javonte Williams. Don't know why Denver didn't utilize him often. He could be our James Conner. Appreciate you, Junior. Junior, let me tell you. Let me tell you something, man. Sean Payton is a strange cat, man. Sean Payton is a strange cat. Sean Payton came into Denver. And basically, if Sean Payton, if he didn't like you, you wasn't Sean Payton's man, Sean Payton, he basically he won't use you. He won't use you. I believe that's probably a part of it. Sean Payton is a trip, man. I do not believe that Russell Wilson, I think Russell Wilson fell off a cliff when he got to Denver. Let's understand Brian Schottenheimer. I'm going to show you something in a moment here about Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer really helped this man out. He goes to Denver, gets the big deal. Sean Payton becomes the coach. Well, Sean Payton didn't like Russell Wilson, and he made sure that Russell Wilson knew it. And the way Sean Payton went off on Russell Wilson on that sideline, I still can't get that out of my mind. The disrespect that this man showed Russell Wilson is insane. And then Bo Nix actually talked crazy to Sean Payton. And Sean Payton gave this man the kind of respect that he should have gave Russell Wilson. Man, you don't talk to an elder statesman quarterback like Russell Wilson, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You don't talk to this man who's been in this league that long and has accomplished what this man has accomplished. You don't get to talk to him like that. You don't get to talk to him like that. But Sean Payton talked to him like that. But then when Bo Nix starts bowing up and talking crazy to Sean Payton on the sideline, he calls it passion. What? Shame on Sean Payton. I respect him as a play caller, but shame on Sean Payton. And Sean Payton is one of those dudes that if he don't like you, you not his man, he'll do away with you. He'll do away with you. He's just one of those types of guys. And again, we'll see what Javonte Williams do with us. But I'm just hoping that the Cowboys don't sleep at the running back position. I'm very confident in Jaden Blue. I'm very confident in Phil Maffa. Javonte Williams is better than Sanders, I believe, when healthy. But I also don't want the Cowboys to rest on their laurels and say, well, the running back room is good enough. I want to see what happens post June 1st. Let me see here. Hurricane Jason, he says, what's going on, Hurricane Jason? Good to see you. He says George Pickens. He said Dak Prescott, George Pickens, wide receiver 2, CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 1, Jaden Blue, RB 1 and 2, Jake Ferguson, tight end 1, and Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver 3, Kevontae Turpin, wide receiver 4 for Jet Sweeps would be nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got weapons. Hurricane Jason, they got weapons. And I don't think they're done. We're going to see what happens. Eddie Lowe, Terrence Williams. Yeah, but Terrence Williams to me wasn't really that good. Terrence Williams, I think they wanted him to be, but he was nowhere on the level of an Alvin Harper. I put George Pickens on the level of an Alvin Harper. I put George Pickens on the level of an Alvin Harper. Terrence Williams, nah. He wasn't even close to me. Wasn't even close. James, this is exactly what I'm talking about, the run game. Yeah. He said our running game and stopping the run. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in the storylines here in just a moment. Daniel Lim, he said, this is all very fascinating, but I have to keep my expectations low, and I know that people are going to hate that. Well, this is where I can bring us all some comfort as it applies to George Pickens. George Pickens isn't like some of the other players we've picked up, gang. George Pickens isn't like some of the other players that we've picked up. What do you mean by that? Peyton Turner, former first-round draft pick. Kyer Elam, former first-round draft pick. When we look at some of those players, the reason why they're here Even if it was on because of injury, they didn't quite pan out. That ain't George Pickens. George Pickens is the standout of all the players we've acquired. George Pickens was not playing bad. He different. George Pickens is different than all the players we picked up. We didn't get George Pickens because somebody said, yeah, man, he had a down year. He had a down year, man. So, he kind of this, that, and the other. No, he different. George Pickens is a number one wide receiver, period. All he has to do is do what he's been doing. Catch the ball. That's all George Pickens has to do. That's why he's different. And while we, I understand temper our expectations. We don't have to temper our expectations with George Pickens. We don't have to temper our expectations. No. Dak Prescott. This is fact, not conjecture. Dak Prescott is better than any quarterback that George Pickens has played with in his life. That's fact, not conjecture. And I'm going to show you some other things about Brian Schottenheimer that's going to blow our minds to where I'm telling you that these two wide receivers, I am not going to be surprised if they are both 1,000-yard receivers. But again, I'm going to talk more about George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb in the future. But again, man, I'm telling us, boy, this thing, the ramifications here. Man, and I hate to even call it potential. All these two receivers have to do is what they've been doing. They don't have to change nothing. Just do what they've been doing. Catch the ball. And when we think about receptions to go around, well, one thing we know, there's been receptions to go around on this team. The other wide receivers just wouldn't catch the ball. They either wouldn't catch the ball or they couldn't get open. So CeeDee Lamb is going to get his, 12 to 15 targets? George Pickens is different, though. George Pickens actually don't need 15 targets. George Pickens only needs about 10. George Pickens with 10 targets average, they will be down the field chunk plays. They're not bringing in George Pickens for the West Coast offense of 5 yards and out, dig routes. Dig routes, in routes, out routes. That's not what you're getting George Pickens for. No, you're getting him for go routes. You're getting him for big plays. That's what you're getting him for. So when we talk about George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens is unlike any of the pickups the Cowboys have made. Why? Because he didn't fall off the cliff or he didn't have an injury setback. His performance didn't fall off. It didn't decrease. That's not George Pickens. All George Pickens has to do is do what he's been doing. All he got to do is do what he's been doing. That's it. All he got to do is do what he's been doing. We don't have to even say, hey, man, if George Pickens, what would stop George Pickens from being George Pickens with a better quarterback? What? Man, I'm telling us. That is the one thing we don't have to worry about. We don't have to worry about it. George Pickens, as long as he's George Pickens, he's going to be great. The dude, he said, love him or hate him, I just know that the AFC West is stacked when it comes to head coaches, Reed, Harbaugh, Peyton, and Carroll. Each of those teams will be tough and battle-tested all season long. Dallas better be ready. Well, you know what? Let me address the dude. One, Andy Reid. If you pay attention, Kansas City is in a soft, and let's not maybe call it a rebuild, but they're trying to recalibrate. The Kansas City we've been watching over the last 2 years, it's not the same Kansas City when they were absolutely dominating, because they're not absolutely dominating no more. I don't think the Cowboys are going to have to worry about KC as much as people think. If the Cowboys are what they have the potential to be, now it won't be us having a problem with them. It'll be us being a problem for them. Because when you look at the Cowboys offense, man, let me tell you something. If you look at the Philadelphia Eagles offense from last year, and you look at the Dallas Cowboys offense of this year, offensive line, I'm not sure we're quite where the Eagles were last year because we don't know what our tackles are. We know what our triangle is. Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker. Man, I'm telling y'all, I'm not even worried about Tyler Booker, man. I'm not even worried about Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker is going to step on the field, and he is going to be he's not going to be Zach Martin, but he's going to be absolutely great. I'm not worried about Tyler Booker. I'm not worried about Tyler Smith. Tyler Booker, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker. I'm not worried. I got to see what Guyton and Steele is. Offensive line, we're not quite as good as the Eagles. Our run game, we got to see what our man Jaden Blue is once we get him in the pads. But as it applies to tight end, we match up. As it applies to wide receiver, I believe we're better. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens is a better wide receiver duo. A better wide receiver duo than A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Period in the story. They're better. And then when you look at quarterback, it all depends on how you want to play. If you want to play Eagles style of offense, where the quarterback himself is going to run for 100, 100. I don't even think we realize what Philly is, man. And why those wide receivers over there, you have to be very patient over there, man. There's a reason why A.J. Brown started reading books on the sideline. Man, this dude know he ain't gonna get no doggone 10 to 15 passes in a game. A.J. Brown knows with Jalen Hurts, 8 receptions is a big day. 8 receptions is a big day. But when I look at Rain Dakota Prescott, 8 receptions for a receiver like A.J. Brown? Bruh, man, you're going to be around 10, 12. And then you pairing up another wide receiver like a George Pickens? Oh, man, Dak Prescott? Probably about 30 passes that day. Probably complete somewhere about 23, 24 of them joints. 300, probably 2 tubs, maybe 3. When you think about, even though the Eagles have a better run attack, because you got to figure in Jalen Hurts as a part of the run attack. But when you think about the Dallas Cowboys, we're the more balanced team. Because when it comes to throwing the ball and reading offenses, throwing the ball, commanding the offense, and reading defenses, Dak Prescott is better than Jalen Hurts. End of story. We're going to be a problem for teams. I'm telling you, we're going to be a problem. George Pickens alone changes things. We got to still see what Guyton, because if Guyton and Steele are what they're supposed to be, if Guyton and Steele are what they're supposed to be, get ready. Get ready if Guyton and Steele. Paul, we're going to be rolling over a lot of teams. If Guyton and Steele are what they're supposed to be. Because they're the only 2 question marks. They're the only 2 question marks. And so when you match up this year's team against the Eagles team last year offensively, man, with George Pickens, the addition of Tyler Booker, Jaden Blue, a healthy Ferguson, boy. Man, I'm just telling you. Because Jaden Blue, while, we're not going to call him Saquon Barkley. But with the speed that he has, if the Cowboys get that offensive line right, you're going to see some of the same type of explosive plays. And again, the dude, let me tell you something, man. Harbaugh got his work cut out for him. I don't care what nobody say. They won't admit this about the golden boy, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is a coach killer. Justin Herbert is a coach killer. Justin Herbert got the looks. Yeah, he got the looks. Let's just be honest. He got the looks. There's a certain look that people like from quarterbacks. Justin Herbert, he got the look. He got the look. He got the build. He's shown flashes with his arm, with his ability to run. The expectations for Justin Herbert is he's supposed to be a top 5 quarterback in the league. Problem is, he's not a top 5 quarterback in the league. Yeah, I said it. Justin Herbert is not a top 5 quarterback in the league. He's a coach killer. Harbaugh, the dude. Harbaugh ought to be worried. Harbaugh ought to be worried. Justin Herbert is never panned out. And they keep making excuses for him. Oh, it's this. Oh, wait a minute. Why is it everyone but him? Why is it everyone but Justin Herbert? He's the only one that's not at fault. Let me answer that, the dude. I appreciate that comment you made. Then I'm gonna read these super chats. I know there may be some San Diego fans, some Los Angeles Chargers fans. I don't mean to hurt your feelings. This dude is a coach killer, man. Straight up. This dude has been through Anthony Lynn, and I still don't think they should have fired Anthony Lynn. They shouldn't have fired Anthony Lynn. Let me make sure he's the one I'm talking about. Do y'all know the Chargers let go of this dude and the Chargers were winning? There's no way this dude should have been fired. I think had they kept this dude, they would have been where they're trying to get by now. Anthony Lynn, to me, was great for the Chargers. You know what killed him? Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's play killed Anthony Lynn. So they wanted to bring in somebody more offensive minded. Where'd that get him? That got him Brandon Staley, the man that didn't know what a punter was. This man would go forward on his own. This man be on his own side of the field on the 15. Hey, coach, it's 3rd and 13. I think we can make it. Coach, you do realize we're on our own side of the field, right? Yep, but I think we can make, yeah. He's a coach killer. Do you know this man after Kellen Moore came from Dak Prescott, everybody said that if Kellen Moore did what he did with Dak Prescott, man, he's going to take over the universe with Justin Herbert. Yeah, he's going to be one of the Avengers. How'd that go? Coach killer. Got Kellen Moore, but ran right out of town. Thankfully, Kellen Moore redeemed himself with the Philadelphia Eagles, and now he's the head coach of the Saints. Justin Herbert is a coach killer, the dude. I'm not worried about him at all. This dude is a coach killer, man. These teams, as much as we say the Cowboys are this and that and the other on paper, I got news for us. Those other teams, they're the same thing on paper. San Diego Chargers, Kansas City Chiefs, we're thinking about what the Chiefs used to be. We're not thinking about what the Chiefs are right now. The Chiefs are not as good. If you look at last year and how close those games were, and man, how it seemed like some of those referees, some of the calls these dudes were getting, I'm just saying, it's not the same Kansas City. They're not just beatable. They're actually getting beat. And mysterious plays have helped them beat some teams last year. I'm just saying. It's not the same Kansas City. And again, Los Angeles Chargers, man, they think Harbaugh is going to be the savior. Justin Herbert's quarterback. He's a coach killer. Straight up coach killer. Straight up coach killer, the dude. Now, what's the name? Harbaugh got a lot more cachet. We're going to see what happens to him. What will be the excuse next? What's going to be the excuse next? Because you got Harbaugh now. What's going to be the excuse? He's a coach killer. I am not worried in the least. D-Block. What you talking about? D-Block 88 in the crib. He said white on white crime. I'm telling you, man. Hoodie Kush. He said, what up, G? Yes, sir. What up? Hoodie Kush in the building. Mr. J in the building. Hey, man. Mr. J. George Pickens. Whew. I'm telling this, guys, George Pickens is not like any of these other players we've acquired. With these other players, it's been their play. With George Pickens, it's not his play of why he's here. It is why he's here, but he's here because of his attitude. Oh, that's way fixable, man. And the way the Cowboys, let me tell you something. There is nothing like becoming a Dallas Cowboy, especially when we need you. The fan base are embracing George Pickens. The team, the front office, they've embraced George Pickens on a level I guarantee you. George Pickens right now is sitting right, I bet you right now, George Pickens in his mind is saying, it's great to be somewhere where they want you. Do you know there are places, and you could be ultra talented, but if people don't feel like they need you, and they treat you like they don't need you, you don't feel a certain way when you're at a place like that. But when you're somewhere and you know people, man, they're treating you and saying, bro, sis, hey, sister, hey, you're going to be so great on our team. You're going to help us do this, do this, do this. You come in the room and they say, you're a major part of the plan. Yeah, you feel a little bit different. George Pickens is not like these other players. He's not like these other players, man. This dude is a bona fide dog. He a bona fide dog. And everybody know it. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, this may turn out to be by the end of the season. There may be some people saying, so you're telling me the Steelers had the opportunity to have DK Metcalf and George Pickens, and they turned them down? It's kind of crazy. Yes, sir. If I know them rookies are going to be nasty. Anthony B, he said patriarchy is a mother when it comes to certain groups. Yes, sir. The dude, he said love him or hate him. Oh, yeah, okay, that's where I was. Okay. And again, Sean Payton. Now, Sean Payton is going to be a problem. Sean Payton is going to be a problem. He's building a very good program over there. Pete Carroll, first year with the Raiders, not concerned. They got some good players, not really concerned about him. So I think the Cowboys are going to fare well. Jerry said, gee, you especially don't talk to a player like that when he has accomplished just as much, if not more than you have as a coach. Both have won one Super Bowl, and actually Russ technically did more, 2 appearances. Oh, yeah, y'all back where I was talking about the thing with Sean Payton. Sad, man. Sad how you talk to that man. Sam Rios, yeah, that roster's crazy, man. Our roster's crazy. But again, man, let me read my super chats. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right, my man. Neo, not from the Matrix. What is up? Yes, sir. Neo says Lambs, Pickens, Turpin, and Blue on the field at the same time. Defenses will be like welcome to the Twilight Zone. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Neo, you know what's even crazy? Bro, we haven't even figured Ferguson into this equation. Somebody mentioned Ferguson earlier. Bro, if Ferguson come back being Ferguson, what? Boy, Ferguson gonna own them seams, man. And with George Pickens on the outside, you run the seam on the side where George Pickens is, because you know George Pickens will have those safeties cheating over to George Pickens. Man, Ferguson ought to eat, man. Ferguson ought to eat, Neo. He ought to eat. This man got a wide receiver that can now clear it out. This man ought to eat. Ferguson better have a big year, man. Ferguson better have a big year. Sam Rios said, "I'm sick of people saying if CD had a quarterback, well, I'm gonna keep it a bean. Dak is better than them. What are y'all on period? There is only a few that's better than Dak. Yeah. Dak's top 5. People who saying Dak Prescott not top 5, they are on. I don't know what they're on. Dak Prescott, statistically, winning percentage is top 5. And the crazy thing is the quarterbacks who they'll have in front of Dak Prescott have accomplished way less. Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback in this league. Dak Prescott stays healthy this year. Dak Prescott is about to have one of the greatest years he's ever had in his life over the next 3 years. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you statistical evidence of what I'm saying is true. But again, we're going to move on. Let's look at our Dallas Cowboys roster. Let's pull that up real quick. Let's look at the storylines of OTAs. Now, we've already really mentioned one of them. We've already mentioned one of the big storylines of the Cowboys OTAs. One of those storylines is none other than George Pickens. George Pickens is a huge storyline. It is going to be so exciting to see George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb in the same training camp. Last year, CeeDee Lamb missed training camp. This year, he's going to be in OTAs. And with George Pickens. George Pickens, this is probably one of the biggest storylines of this Cowboys OTAs and in this training camp coming up. But you know what? And I want y'all to tell me what is your number one story as far as these storylines go that we're talking about. Because I'm going to tell you my number one storyline right off the top. Y'all tell me your number one storyline. What is your number one storyline of the Cowboys OTAs, their offseason? I'm going to give you mine. I'm going to read another super chat. Y'all know what the biggest story to me is of OTAs and of the entire training camp is going to be? It's the coaching staff. With these players that we have a great coaching staff on paper. We haven't seen them on the field. We've seen them with the rookies, but now it's time to see them with the team. And how will they coach this team going forward? What are they going to look like? I think the biggest storyline of these OTAs is the coaching staff. They're going to make a huge impact. Because if this team is going to be physical the way people keep talking about, if they're going to be all these things that people keep talking about, well, guess what? It began with the front office. I said this earlier last year. Championship teams begin in the front office. Well, front office has been doing some championship moves. And George Pickens is a championship move. The draft was a championship move. Free agency depth was championship moves. The front office is in championship mode. So the championship has begun where it's supposed to begin. It begins in the front office. Then it matriculates down to the coaches. So now we have to see what the coaches are. What are our coaches going to be? How are they going to conduct the OTAs? How will they conduct, and what will be player development under them? What will be player development? And so the coaching staff, it is the biggest storyline of OTAs to me. Coaching staff. How did they coach them? How are they going to drive them? What are they going to do? That's to me, that's the biggest storyline. Brand new coach, brand new coaching staff. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, pretty big. That's a big storyline. But for me, and I'll rank these later on, but I'm just telling you, for me, off the top, number one on my list, coaching staff. My man Alex, appreciate the super chat. Yeah, Alex says George Pickens is going to make a huge difference. Some people don't think the Eagles are going to sweep us again. We're going to shock the league. Oh, he says some people think the Eagles are going to sweep. Ain't no way. Alex, I've already said it. If the Cowboys win the opener in Philly against the Philadelphia Eagles, the Cowboys are going to sweep the Eagles. The Cowboys are going to sweep the Eagles if the Eagles can't beat the Cowboys that first game. They'll sweep them. They will beat them again in week 12? In Dallas? They'll beat them. I guarantee you they'll beat them. Big Cloud said if Pickens would have went anywhere else, he would have been mad we didn't get him. We needed a monster and we got him. Boom. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big Cloud, man, let me give you some applause. Big Cloud, you know why the statement you made is so powerful? Because it would have been one of the biggest storylines of the season and at the end of the season. Big Cloud, I want you to put this in your mind. I want us to put this in our minds. So the Cowboys don't get George Pickens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers want to shake him real bad. Because you know what happens when they want to get rid of a player? They either get desperate and they trade him, or they go down on the trade, what I'm saying. Rather than a third, they say, hey, man, we'll take a fifth. We just want to get something. Lord forbid they just throw him out there on the open market. Could you imagine if a team like the Kansas City Chiefs would have got a hold of George Pickens? What if Sean McVay, he just gets thrown out there and the Rams say, oh, shoot, he's out there? Man, we'll have Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, whatever. I hope I got his name right, Puka Nacua. And then, hey, man, we'll just throw George Pickens in there. What? Could you imagine if another team would have got George Pickens and then George Pickens comes out straight balling? Big Cloud. We'd have really been mad we didn't get him. Everybody would have been saying we could have got him. And all the media, the Cowboys could have got him and they didn't get him. The Cowboys are dumb and this is the stuff they always do. Big Cloud, you are 100% right. We got him. We needed a monster and we got him. Straight facts, brother. Neo, not from the Matrix. He said, he's agreeing with me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Neo said the coaching staff, 100%. He said they all look like at every coaching position will be on the field and hands-on, just like Quinn did. Yes, sir. I'm telling you, Neo, the coaching staff is the biggest storyline of the season. It's the biggest storyline of the season. And if the coaching staff is everything that everyone says and what we hope it's going to be, man, I'm just telling us. It's called That's Why You Play the Game. I'm not saying that, because I never really predicted the Cowboys were going to go to the Super Bowl this year, but I'm just telling you, it's called Why You Play the Game. And I'm going to tell you guys something that has my spidey senses tingling. There is something that has my spidey senses tingling. Why in the world would this NFL give the Dallas Cowboys not only 6 primetime games while only giving Philadelphia 5 primetime games, giving Kansas City 7 primetime games? But when I look at the primetime games the Cowboys have the best primetime games of the season. They made sure the Dallas Cowboys got the season opener against the Super Bowl champions. They made sure, well, the Cowboys are always playing on Thanksgiving, and it don't matter if the Cowboys were to play a Little League team. They're going to probably be the most watched team on Thanksgiving. What did they do? We gave you the Super Bowl winners on the season opener. Now we're going to give you the Super Bowl losers on Thanksgiving? Oh, and then we're not done with you, Cowboys. We're going to turn around and we're going to give you the Christmas game on Netflix. I know the Cowboys bring in money. I'm telling you guys something. This seems strange. This all seems strange to me. Maybe it won't be nothing. I'm not saying my spidey senses or I'm not saying they're prophetic. I'm not telling y'all I shoot webs. I'm not telling y'all I shoot webs. My girl Nisi in the chat, Nisi, I think your package will be there tomorrow. Appreciate you. I'm not saying I'm not saying that I'm actually Peter Parker or Miles Morales. What I am saying, nah, man, something ain't right. I'm just telling y'all, man, something ain't right. Something ain't right about why would the league do this? Y'all tell me. Tell me your biggest storyline, but also tell me this. Can you explain to me why would this league give the Dallas Cowboys, a 7-10 football team in 2024, brand new coach, brand new coaching staff? I mean, what, a 30 to 40% brand new team? Why would they give them 6 primetime games this season? 3 of these primetime games, season opener on a Thursday Thanksgiving against the Kansas City Chiefs, and Christmas against the Washington Commanders. And am I going crazy? But didn't they say there was going to actually be a Netflix special with the Dallas Cowboys this season? Isn't there a Netflix special coming up? I'm just telling y'all, this to me all sounds very strange. This sounds very strange to me. This doesn't seem like something this don't seem like something that's an accident. I mean, y'all tell me what you think. Maybe I am crazy. This don't sound like coincidence. This don't sound like coincidence. This sounds like one of these things like, man, this could be like one of the greatest stories we've seen. 30-year anniversary, I believe, of the Dallas Cowboys not going to the Super Bowl. This stuff is all strange to me. This is all strange to me. The way this is shaping up is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. This has the makings of some kind of weird season, because it seems like to me the NFL knows something. I'm just telling y'all, it seems like they know something. It makes no rhyme or reason to give the Cowboys 6 primetime games as if they went to the Super Bowl or they won the NFC Championship game or they went to the NFC Championship game. I mean, what was the reason? Y'all got to tell me. Keith in the crib, he said, hey, they say Herbert he says they say Herbert is way better than Dak, which I don't see. Yes, his arm is more stronger. He was a better prospect, but he hasn't accomplished more than Dak to this point. He's a first-round pick. He's a coach killer. They want him to be better than Dak. Keek, you know what the cold hard facts are? He's not better than Dak Prescott. Justin Herbert is not better than Dak Prescott. And if someone says he is, give me the proof. Give me the proof other than what people say. Give me the proof. Justin Herbert is not better than Dak Prescott. He's not. He's a coach killer. I don't know what else to tell us on him. He's an absolute coach killer. Eddie Lowe, he said with an injured team, yes, 7-10 with an injured team. Victor Jones, he said, Georgia fan here and Cowboy fan. Pickens ain't even scratched the surface yet. It's going to be a nasty year. Go Dogs. Straight up, Victor. Straight up. Let me keep on with my storylines, and I'm gonna stay in the chat. My man Intelligent Savage in the crib, he said full facts. Full facts. Yes, sir. I agree with Intelligent Savage. He said hit that like button. Bleeding Blue, he said Justin Herbert reminds him of Matt Schaub. Man, they want Justin Herbert to be the face. They want him to be another one of these faces of the NFL so bad. Problem is he can't win. And the reason why they've been losing, it has been unequivocally him. Him throwing insane, not interceptions. Yeah, Justin Herbert, he's just not what they want him to be. My man Pure Gaming, he said, I have faith in Ferguson. Pure Gaming. Ferguson ought to eat with George Pickens, man. Ferguson ought to eat with George Pickens. The safety will be cheating. Those safeties are going to have to cheat. When you have George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, boy, them safeties going to have to pick their poison, man. They're going to have to pick it. But again, I got as my number one OTA storyline, I got the coaches. And I'm going to have to rank these a little bit later. But CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, they are going to be a very big storyline. But again, I guess I can kind of rank this one. My next one, number 2, my storyline is Dak Prescott. What is Dak Prescott's participation in any of the OTAs? Will Dak Prescott see the field in any capacity in OTAs? Because we've seen videos of Dak Prescott throwing the ball. We've seen it. We're watching him run as he's throwing the ball on the run, all kinds of stuff. And OTAs is what, more 7-on-7s and things of that nature. But number 2, that's another storyline for me, not only in OTAs, but throughout training camp. I want to see what is Dak Prescott's participation. What is Dak Prescott's participation? I think if Dak Prescott is healthy or healthy enough, I don't want to see, and it's not going to be contact in the first place. Looks like here it says Fred Warner agrees to a 3-year, $63 million contract extension with the 49ers. Dak's participation to me is going to be pivotal. I want to know what his participation level is going to be. I really do. Dak needs to get some chemistry in with the team. So now that I kind of look at it, I got that as number 2. Y'all tell me what your storylines are. My next big storyline, Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons has a deal, doesn't have an extension. What role will he play in OTAs? That's a very big deal. What role will he play? What role will he play in OTAs? I have another storyline, And you know what? Now that I'm going, I'm on a roll now. Y'all get y'all's ready. Well, I'm coming to the comments. I'm gonna give you storyline number 4 for me. Joe Milton III. Joe Milton III. And the reason why this is a big one for me, not only does he have to worry about Donovan Smith, who is also a big quarterback. I'm going to tell you who's going to be a problem for both Donovan, I think his name is Donovan Smith, and Joe Milton III. Will Grier. We're about to see a great backup quarterback battle. Will Grier, I'm telling y'all, this is back to the argument that someone made in the chat just a moment ago. Justin Herbert, while I will agree, when you think about his draft pedigree and what people say about his arm, okay, so those things could be true. But one thing I know about this league, because you can throw the ball farther, means nothing. Because you have a stronger arm than a quarterback, it means nothing. And once we get in the 6'2" range, just because you're 3 or 4 inches taller, don't mean nothing. If you're faster, it helps somewhat. If you're bigger, it helps somewhat. But in the grand scheme of things, those aren't major. And with everything that people say about Justin Herbert, they can tell me anything they want to, but he's not better than Dak Prescott. And Joe Milton III, do people not realize that Joe Milton III, when he came out of Tennessee, Joe Milton III could already throw a mile. Joe Milton III was already throwing the ball 80, 85 yards, 95, 90, whatever he said he can throw. He was already doing that. He was already big. He was already fast. He could already get out of the pocket. He was already making splash plays. And where did he go in the draft? How many years did a 6-year quarterback with his quote unquote attributes, how many years did he start? Anybody who's played this game knows all that stuff is great. But what's in here? What's in your heart? And what's up here? What's in your mind? How do you apply the skill set that you have? Tom Brady is one of the greatest examples of this. Tom Brady, I showed my wife a picture of Tom Brady. We were looking back at some pictures of Tom Brady after Michael Irvin said he didn't start looking good until he started winning. And I went back and started looking at the pictures, and I was showing my wife the pictures. And when my wife saw his combine picture, my wife said, "That is not Tom Brady." My wife said, "That's not Tom Brady. There's no way." Yeah, that's Tom Brady. Just telling us. At the end of the day, it's how you play. It's how you play. I'll never argue with anybody. LeBron James, when you talk about physical specimen, Michael Jordan wasn't even close when you talk about physical specimen. But when you talk about being physical, when you talk about physicality, when you talk about the GOAT, Michael Jordan hands down. For a dude Michael Jordan's size and with his skill set, I don't even think people understand how good this man must have been for a player to be as big as LeBron James with his skill set. And Michael Jordan is still being called the GOAT. Yeah, just because you're bigger, just because you can do certain things better, or your physical attributes, they don't make you better than somebody who got pure skill and know how to use it. Joe Milton III, Will Grier. Boy, I'm telling y'all, Will Grier gonna battle this dude. Everybody acting like, yeah, Will Grier. I mean, yeah, man. Yeah, Joe Milton the third, bro, he gonna be the third. I mean, he gonna be the second quarterback. You keep thinking that. Will Greer coming to play. This is going to be a quarterback camp that is going to be so good for Joe Milton III. Because you know what? Yeah, you didn't like what you thought you were better than the quarterback over in New England, didn't you? Wait till you get into this Dallas Cowboy training camp. You're going to be humbled by quarterbacks who are smaller than you, not faster than you, and arm not big as yours. You're going to be humbled. It is going to be a great battle. I'm going to definitely have my eye on Joe Milton. Definitely going to have my eye on Joe Milton and that entire thing going on with that. Let's see what else we have in here. There's another big storyline brewing to me. Y'all tell me what you think. And then I'm going to go to the comments and then I'll get back. I'll go back to my list. There's another humongous storyline brewing to me. And that storyline is Deuce Vaughn.
Yes! Here we go!
That storyline is none other than Deuce Vaughn. Where does Deuce Vaughn fit on this team? Where does Deuce Vaughn fit? Because we've had people talking about Deuce Vaughn. And I just wonder, where does Deuce Vaughn fit? Where does he fit? Where does Deuce Vaughn fit? I'm going to come back up here in a moment to a part of the roster. But the running back room. Where does Deuce Vaughn fit? There have been some people, and I've seen it on X, and it's funny to me. There are people who are, I saw something and I thought it was like, I just couldn't believe it. But there are people that are screaming for Deuce Vaughn that I've seen where some people actually say that he may be better than Jaden Blue. Let me tell you. I think we're going to have to be real about Deuce Vaughn. And I said this even during the season. Deuce Vaughn is not a small, quote unquote, running back. But Deuce Vaughn is a very short running back. He's a very short running back. And I just don't know how he fits. I just don't know how he fits into what you're doing. I just don't know how he fits. I mean, man, this dude is, I'm sorry, man. This dude is, the Cowboys, and I'm trying to make sure I don't say this in the wrong way, because I like Deuce Vaughn. I like Deuce Vaughn. I'm just saying, man, the Cowboys had no business drafting this dude. I'm just keeping it 100% real, man. I just don't think the Cowboys should. Why? Why did they even draft this dude? I know why they drafted him. And if anybody is telling me they drafted him because he was that great no, man, stop it. They drafted him because his father is on the staff. They drafted him because his father is on the staff, and it was a great story. It was a Jerry Jones thing. Terrible. Shouldn't have did it. Shouldn't have done it. The Cowboys could have got a player, could have got another running back. Could have got another running back. Bigger and probably a little bit better. And so now the Cowboys have Deuce Vaughn. And everybody's saying the Cowboys need to give him a chance. Landon Holyfield is kind of has been in a discussion with people on X about this. And it says college football's leader in all-purpose yards didn't forget how to play football. He just hasn't been given a true opportunity to prove it. Now, I'm just telling y'all about college football. It is what it is. It just is what it is. College football isn't like the pros. All conferences are not the same in college football. Period. End of story. This is one of the reasons why in the past I have not been a big fan of college football. Because the mismatches you face in college football are like no other. I mean, you may play a team one week and you beat them 49-2. And then you play, and then you look on your schedule, and you may only have 3 games that are even difficult. And only one of those teams may be in the top 10. And where you circle that game and go, we're going to get beat down. And then the other games, we'll win those because they're just weak teams. And then the other 2 teams, it's a toss-up. College is like that, man. It just is. That's one of the things I don't like about college football is the matchups. And a guy like Deuce Vaughn, not going up against top-tier talent, can rack up just bukus of yards in college football. And then we take that, and then we think that bleeds over into the pros. Contraire, my friend. Those of you who don't know French, think that means contrary, my friend. But I could be wrong, but that's what I think it means. Deuce Vaughn. Where does he fit on your team? Where does he fit? He's a smaller running back. Period. End of story. He's a smaller running back. And he goes down a little bit quicker than some others. And I don't want to necessarily call him small. I mean, he's 5'6", 176, I think. For a dude 5'6", man, he's pretty big. But when you're comparing that to the league, and with Deuce Vaughn, you can't just use Deuce Vaughn as your main running back, of course. You're going to have to find ways to use him. How do you use him? He's a liability in certain situations. It is what it is. He's a liability. I really don't know what the Cowboys are going to do with him. I really don't. The pros in college football, they're 2 totally different things, especially when you're talking about the running back position. I don't know. I just don't know what you do with Deuce Vaughn. It says here, Landon writes, during the Cowboys post-draft press conference prior to Vaughn's second year, Mike McCarthy openly acknowledged that they overhauled the entire pass protection scheme for their running backs. And for someone like Deuce Vaughn, a rookie running back already undersized and fighting uphill in a pass pro, that revamp likely felt like foreign language. Now, again, if you're going to be a running back with Brian Schottenheimer, you're going to have to be able to block. Somebody explain to me, who does he block? So you already know you can't have him in pretty much on some of the passing downs. So you're going to have him in over Jaden Blue and some of the run formations? I don't get it. I don't get it. It says Vaughn probably didn't get the development plan, the tailored packages, or the situational usage he deserved. And that's not a reflection of his ability. It's a reflection of timing and circumstance. Okay, so what are the packages you're tailoring for him? For everybody's, Deuce Vaughn. Well, okay, tell me what do you do? He's a 5'6" running back. A lot of people don't understand, for a quarterback even, that's a different type of pass. That's a different type of pass. That's a different type of handoff. He's shorter. I'm just saying, man, it's so many things that people don't want to acknowledge about this Deuce Vaughn thing. Skeptical fan in the crib. Yes, sir. Skeptical fan says, let the best running back win the job. Yes, sir. Neo said, maybe put Vaughn on kick returns with Turpin. Appreciate that super chat. Neo. That's kind of where I was. I mean, you really people got to understand. You have to really figure out a way to use guys like Deuce Vaughn. You really have to figure out a way to use him because he's a smaller type of back. You got to find a way to maybe get him in some space or something to that degree. Because if you can't do those things, then how do you use him? You're not using him. Say, hey man, this is your series. You know, you're going to run the ball. You're going to run the ball primarily. Really? I'm sorry. I just don't think the Cowboys should have even did this. I just don't think they should have did it. I mean, and again, it was a great story. I just don't think they should have did it. I don't. And now, Landon Holyfield is over here on X, and he says you make a great case. But here's why I disagree on Deuce. He says the how in the run games as well as the who up front last year isn't an apples to apples comparison to 2024, and the staff knows that. He said more downhill things, forcing defenders and would be tacklers to stack shed as. Okay, this will probably take us to X. Let me see. Okay, he says, opposed to try to do everything via outside zone or runs from the gun, makes Deuce much more difficult to see pursuing corral. His lateral agility, okay, I think he's for him, I guess, in a sense. He said his lateral agility and aerial quickness, what makes him unique, is nullified when the rhythm of the play has everyone flowing, defense included at the NFL level. He's a problem if my vision for what's about to happen actually happens, which is dominate A-gap and get downhill. I don't know, man. I'm just not agreeing with Landon on this. I just don't think the Cowboys should have got him. I don't. And if he's that good, if I was the Cowboys, I'd trade him. Trade him then. And Dan Rogers is saying, here are all 23 of Deuce Vaughn's rushing attempts last year against real NFL players. He said, you can form your own opinion. He said, in all fairness, he wasn't given a lot to work with, but at some point you have to ask yourself, is he a running back capable of making the most of what he's given? Mm. I mean, I'm sure y'all can see these plays on the screen. I just think when you're talking about Deuce Vaughn, I think he's one of these players, you have to get him in space. I just don't think these type of runs that they're trying to do, these A-gap runs, I can't buy it, man. I can't buy it. Even with a line, I can't buy I can't buy the Deuce Vaughn thing. I can't buy it. I just can't buy it. And, you know, again, y'all tell me what you think. That's one of the big stories I think is going to be in camp. I can't do it. I can't. I think if he's that good, then the Cowboys can trade him. And I'm not, why am I trying to work packages for Deuce Vaughn again? Why am I doing this? Why am I working packages for him? When I now got George Pickens, I have CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, Kevontae Turpin, because I'm getting packages for Kevontae Turpin. Deuce Vaughn ain't even in the same category with quickness and speed. Now I got Jaden Blue. Now I got Phil Maffa. And then we got Javonte Williams. Explain to me again Where are we going to create packages for Deuce Vaughn? Okay, if somebody wants to do that, y'all can make the argument for it. I have a strange feeling the Cowboys are not going to do it. When I think about a power run game, when I think about a violent run game, when I think about a physical run game, man, you can tell me anything you want to. Deuce Vaughn is not a name to come to my mind. Maybe I'm crazy. Sure, maybe I'm crazy, y'all. But Deuce Vaughn don't come to my mind. I'm not thinking Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn to me is more of a specialty player. My job or my goal with Deuce Vaughn, how can I get this dude in space? Why do I need him to run some of my A-gap runs? Why do I need him to run downhill A-gap runs? Man, I got Jaden Blue for that. Who's faster than Deuce Vaughn? What do I need? Bigger and faster than Deuce Vaughn. What do I need Deuce Vaughn to do that for? This is a big story to me. This is a very big story in training camp to me. Very big story. Let me come to some of your comments. I want to see where you guys are on this. Very big story to me. Very, very, very big story to me. Because a lot of people are screaming for this dude. The dude, he said, I know coaching still matters in the NFL today. Yeah. He said, I've got no opinion on Herbert. But if you're going up against Reed, Harbaugh, and Peyton Carroll, then you better be ready for the battle. Oh, yeah, for sure. Eddie Lowe, BB won't be an issue. It's Guyton we're concerned about. Yeah, he's on my list. Yeah, he on my list. He going to make the second half. Hoodie Kush, he said, if we lose week one, we just lose week one. It's more of a how we lose. But if we lose, we lose. For me, we can't lose. If we lose, we win. If we win, we win. Both of them are going to tell us where we are. Robert M., he says, we owe Detroit for running up the score last year. Boy, I would love to see it. Lord Nova, he said, MJ is the GOAT. Yes, sir. Oh, Poopy D, he said, Kobe Bryant. I see you. Before MJ, there was, Dr. J was crazy. And he was walking in the sky, too. Mr. J, I'm telling us, Will Grier can play. Yeah, Will Grier can play. The quarterback battle in training camp is going to be epic. It is. Will Grier can play. He can. Intelligent Savage, he said, hit that like button, share this content. Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Hit that like button. Let me go down a little bit further. Yeah, I'm with you again, I'm with you again. Skeptical Fan, he said, may the best running back win. Yeah. Let them battle it out. But Skeptical Fan, come back and comment. Comment in the comments again. I'm going to find it. Tell me, though, what do you think Deuce Vaughn is? Because, when you're talking about just straight up running back, he cannot compete with these guys. Can't compete. The dude said at his spot in the depth chart the past few seasons, Deuce has had his real shot already. Sometimes preseason and limited regular season game snaps is all you get in the NFL, and you better show up. Oh, and do you know that's what Dan Rogers said to dude? That's what Dan Rogers is saying. He says, are you capable of making the most of what you're given? Man, I'm just saying. Coyote, he said Deuce has a new coach and a semi-clean slate. Just come out and prove it. I feel you. Let's see what he do. But I still say it's just a straight-up running back. I don't think he can beat these guys. Not as a straight-up running back. Can't do it. My man Reginald Jackson in the crib. Reginald Jack, he said, do you think the NFL is mocking y'all by having Dallas to play us knowing we are lifting the Super Bowl banner? Well, Reginald, tell me this ain't crazy, though. Jerry wanted that game. I heard 2 to 3 weeks before, Jerry was lobbying to the NFL for that game. And Reginald, it's not just y'all I'm looking at. What I'm looking at is the number of the games. 6. And the days of the games. So Philly Super Bowl champ, gets to play Dallas 7-10. Then the Cowboys also get the regular Thanksgiving game, but they get the Chiefs. And then you get the Washington Commanders on Christmas. All three of those games are huge games. And again, it's not just y'all that I'm talking about. When you look at the games they gave the Cowboys, I'm just saying, man, it seemed like they got something working. They might know something. It seems like they're acting like they know something. We all know the Cowboys bring in money. This seems to be a little bit more than money. It really does. The dude, he says, I'm sorry, but Christian McCaffrey at 5'11 and 210 pounds is small as I'd ever want any running back to be on my NFL roster. Man, and let me tell you something. You know why Christian McCaffrey is different, the dude? Because let's put on the other part. Christian McCaffrey, 5'11", 210. That ain't small for a running back. He 5'11", 210. He's not only strong. Christian McCaffrey don't get the credit. Very strong running back. Top end speed. But what makes Christian McCaffrey deadly? It's not the top end speed. It's the quickness. Man, Christian McCaffrey's quickness will kill you, man. Christian McCaffrey will hit a hole so quick, make 1-2 moves, boom, boom, it's over. It's over. He gonna hit his head on the goalpost. Christian McCaffrey is a different type of running back, man. And I'm definitely, and I don't know, the context of all of that, but we definitely ain't gonna put that in nowhere near Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn ain't close to Christian McCaffrey. Deuce Vaughn is not little Joe Morris from the New York Giants or Jason Hart in the Colts. Man, I'm telling you, man, I just think it was a bad pick by the Cowboys on this. Coyote said we had to come out and play the Bucs first game after they won a Super Bowl and almost won. That's with Dak coming off a major injury, first time playing. Yeah, I'm telling you, Coyote, man, just y'all think about the stuff that I'm telling you about the Cowboys, what they done gave these dudes on a 7-10, coming off a 7-10 schedule. Boy, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. I mean, this sounds like to me they got some expectations. We're going to see, though. Skeptical fan. See, the skeptical fan, you're saying some of the same things that I said and thought about Deuce Vaughn. A-gap runs with Deuce Vaughn is dumb to me. Bro, this ain't college. This the pros. No, you got to get this guy in space. Work him to the edge. Work him to the edge. See if you can get him a quick pitch. Get him some sweeps. Get him some screens. You got to figure out a way to see if you can get him in space. Because what Deuce Vaughn can do is that he can make dudes miss. He can make dudes miss. So you got to figure out how to use. But again, skeptical fan. Now here becomes my next problem. Because now I'm going to argue with myself. This is my next problem, skeptical fan. Why am I going to do that again? Somebody explain to me why am I going to do this for Deuce Vaughn? Explain to me why I'm going to do this with Deuce Vaughn. When I got Kevontae Turpin, who is one of the fastest men in the NFL, if not the fastest. Can somebody explain to me why I'm going to do this for Deuce Vaughn? When I got Jaden Blue, who's bigger, who's stronger, and is a sub 430 runner faster. Explain to me why I'm going to do this again. Why am I going to do this? Why am I going to use him for the A-gap? Well, now, those are snaps I can give Phil Maffa. Can we explain to me why am I going to create packages for Deuce Vaughn when there's really no motivation to do it? Explain to me. Y'all tell me, what's the motivation? I know what we can do with him. But what would be the motivation now? What would be the motivation? I don't see the motivation. Now I have George Pickens even. What is my motivation? To create packages for Deuce Vaughn? Makes no sense to me. y'all got to explain it to a brother like me. Richard, again, I like what we saying. Can we explain why? Why are we doing it? What would be our motivation? Oh, man, you know what, man, Deuce Vaughn, we got to give him a chance. Explain to me why again? Why do we have to give him a chance? Bruh, you better get your butt out there in OTAs. You better get your butt out there and you better put the work in. Because if you don't show us you're quicker, if you don't show us you're faster, if you don't show us something, again, explain to me why would I do this for him? Eddie Lowe, I said this about Deuce Vaughn last year, but it's a different year. Again, why am I doing this for Deuce Vaughn? When I got a bigger, stronger, faster running back that can do it better, why am I doing this for him again? Let me tell you something. Deuce Vaughn better come out here and blow their socks off. Because if I'm this offensive coordinator, every time I think of Deuce Vaughn, you know what I think? But Jaden Blue can do that better. Jaden Blue can do that better. So why would I use Deuce Vaughn? For what I know Jaden Blue is going to be better at. I don't get it. I don't get it. Even if you're talking about the college careers, I don't think you're talking apples and oranges. When you're talking about the competition level of Texas versus the school that Vaughn came out of, I forgot, you're not talking about the same level of competition. And you're definitely not talking about the same level of competition when you come over here to the pros. Nah, man. Again, I understand because I said the same things about Deuce Vaughn last year. You know, maybe you get him on some screens. Maybe you get him on some sweeps. And again, you got to get a guy his size in space. But explain to me again. But now I got Jaden Blue. Explain to me why I'm doing this again. Why am I doing this for Deuce Vaughn? Man, I even got Javonte Williams. Why am I doing this again? I got Phil Maffa. Why am I doing this again? What is my motivation? Why do I have to now that we have better players, explain to me again why I am giving Deuce Vaughn these opportunities? Well, my problem again, Louise, and I appreciate what you're saying. Explain what would be the motivation now, though. Because, see, this was last year. You didn't have the weapons. Now you got the weapons. Jaden Blue is better. Jaden Blue is better than him. He's bigger, faster, quicker. Why am I doing this again? Cool breeze. And I'm not going to disagree with anything y'all saying about the blocking. But every time I think about Deuce Vaughn, explain to me again when I have a bigger version of Deuce Vaughn, faster version of Deuce Vaughn. Explain to me again, why am I going to do this? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I have no motivation. Gene Martz, I saw the same prediction. There is no way Phil Maffa is not making this team. Phil Maffa would have to come out and just be flat out sorry. Go look at his tape. Shoo, boy. Go look at his tape. Go look at Phil Maffa tape. He making this team. Phil Maffa making this team. And he better make this team even before Deuce Vaughn. Let me see here. Iceberg Slim, he said they just pardoned Tory Lanez. Oh, man, that's going to be a big story. There needs to be some retribution. Okay, Gene Moore said Cowboys Chat Sports said it. Yeah, Phil Moffitt's making this team. There's no, Hoodie Kush. Hoodie Kush. My man Hoodie Kush said he ain't buying y'all's blocking problem. Hoodie Kush said he ain't buying y'all blocking problem because Rico Dowdle had 1,000 yards. Straight up. Straight up. Straight facts, Hoodie Kush. And again, why would I give Deuce Vaughn? Why would I create packages for Deuce Vaughn when I now have Jaden Blue? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Big Cloud, he said they have time to figure these type of things out. It's either special teams or they let him go. Bruh, say it. Say it. Justin Blue, not to mention they got a fullback they want to keep. Hunter Lipke. My man Jigga Man, what up in the crib? Yes, sir. He said A.J. Brown a little nervous about them boys. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, he know what George Pickens is. Robert Dudley, he said Kevontae Turpin is proven. Deuce is not in the conversation. Straight up facts. Iceberg Slim, I don't know. I've seen two people talking about Phil Moffitt not making this team. Man, Phil Moffitt, on the way he don't make this team, he don't get on the field. Shoot, man. Phil Moffitt part of the plan, man. Phil Moffitt is a part of the plan. Trust me when I tell you. Louise said every team will be able to know what you're bringing to the field if you don't mix it up. For sure. Yes, sir. Mr. J, Greer has grit. Yeah, Greer is going to go for this job. I'm telling you. So, Jeremiah McDowell, I agree with you 1,000%. My only problem is this. What's the motivation? What's the motivation? Why would I do this for Deuce Vaughn when I got Jaden Blue now? I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get Jaden Blue and Phil Moffitt on the field. I'm not trying to figure out how I'm going to get Deuce Vaughn, Phil Moffitt, Javonte Williams, and Deuce Vaughn on the field. I'm not trying to figure out how to get all four of them on the field. I'm not. No, the three best running backs going to win this thing. And somebody either going to get cut or going to the practice squad. Iceberg Slim, he said 600 rushing, 700 receiving. Man, let me tell you something. You think George Pickens was a great pickup? Jaden Blue, and people have already been talking about it. They talking about Jaden Blue. They talking about Jaden Blue may be the steal of the draft. Hoodie Kush, he said, facts G, Jerry pushed for this game. Hey, man, we all know that this thing with Deuce Vaughn, this was more of a story than it was the Cowboys saying that we believe this dude going to come in here and be dominant. Not happening. Not happening. Nick Burton, what's shaking with you? Quentin Scott, hey, he said, hey, Big G, he said, tell me this. He said, what if we trade Deuce so they can get something for him? That's where I am. Trade him. Trade him. Trade him. See if there's somebody who want him. I do not, when I think about a power run game, Deuce Vaughn is not in my conversation. Deuce Vaughn is not in my conversation. When I think about sweeps, quick pitches, sweeps, I'm no longer thinking about Deuce Vaughn. I'm now thinking Jaden Blue. Anything that has something to do with speed on this team, now I'm thinking Jaden Blue, Kevontae Turpin. I'm not thinking Deuce Vaughn. Now, somebody tell me, maybe I'm going crazy, but if Deuce Vaughn was that fast, I think the Cowboys would have had Deuce Vaughn on the field already. No, you may have to go get a chance somewhere else. It's just the bottom line. You may have to go get a chance somewhere else. I like Deuce Vaughn. But, nah, man. I'm not beating the tables for him to get an opportunity. I mean, how long has he been on the team? I'm just not beating down beating on the table for this man to get an opportunity. No, hey man, maybe he need a new fresh start. Maybe we see if we can trade him to somebody that needs him. Somebody that can use him, because he just doesn't fit into what we're doing. Nick Burston, why are we entertaining Deuce Vaughn? Nick, there is a huge conversation, my brother. There is a huge conversation. People talking about Deuce Vaughn deserve a chance. Deserve? Deserves a chance? Well, he's gotten on the field. And while the line wasn't good, I'm sorry, Hoodie Kush. Hoodie Kush said Rico Dowdle got 1,000 yards behind the same line. I'm just saying. My man Nick Burston, he said, cut him. Cut him. Intelligent Savage said no issues with it if they earned it. Now we must respond accordingly with an old-fashioned butt kicking in Dallas North. Lincoln, oh, okay, got you. The same way we did in Dallas. I got you. Texas boy, he said, wow, people talking about a running back who can't even see the field. It's too late for him. Hey, man. Texas boy. Man. Look at this, man. Let's look at this thing on Deuce Vaughn, bro. Look at this, bro. I mean, people have really been talking about this. And, with Landon Holyfield, I don't know. Landon, I've seen some of Landon's work. He's real smart. He does a lot of great work. This thing with Deuce Vaughn, though, love Landon's work, but I cannot agree with him in any form or fashion. Just can't agree with him. Can't. RC says, great story. There it is. When they drafted him, what did everybody say? Great story. Great story. That's what everybody was saying. Great story, great story. Hey, man, I just don't think we should have made that move. I know why we made it. Shouldn't have made that move. People are tearing this up. Look at this. Kylo Ren and Stimpy says, yes, if our eyes are not deceiving us, a stronger and quicker thinking Deuce running between B.B. Smith or B.B. and Martin has the potential to produce jaw-dropping results. It would be an epic mistake to cut that kid. Come on, man. Look at this. Robbie Golden. Why so much attention given to a 5'5", 6th round pick? Look at this. You notice what he said? Nice story. It's a big boys game. I'm just telling us. And there are so many people, man, around X. They've been commenting on this story. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me, man. It's crazy to me. No. And again, I think that's why it's going to be a big storyline for it's a big storyline for OTAs in this training camp, because what is going to become of Deuce Vaughn? What's going to become of him? And again, let me get through a couple of more of these before I get out of here. I'll tell you another big one. Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith. And my question becomes, because I know what we want and what the Cowboys think are two different things. And I just wonder, where do the Cowboys believe Mozzie Smith is? Will the Cowboys address defensive tackle? Will they address it? Or will they say, we're rolling as our one tech, we're rolling with Jay Toia, we're rolling with Jay, and we're rolling with Mozzie as the starter because we believe he's going to make another step. Mozzie Smith, to me, is the 6th biggest story in this OTAs. And I'm going to give number 7, I'm going to give it to Tyler Guyton. Will Tyler Guyton make a step? What is Guyton going to look like in OTAs, training camp, leading into the preseason? What is he going to look like? And then I'm going to go number 8 on my list. Number 8 storyline on my list. I want to see if Mingo makes another step. But I also want to see if Jalen Tolbert makes another step. I want to see if Jalen Tolbert takes on the challenge. Will Jalen Tolbert take on the challenge, beat out Mingo, and be the number 3 wide receiver on this team? Because I told y'all before, I'm going to tell you again. The number 3 receiver just became one of the most important positions on this team. Because with some of the teams we're playing this year, some of those teams will actually be able to match up against us, even with 2 good wide receivers. 2 good wide receivers and 2 great wide receivers, it doesn't just automatically guarantee you're going to stomp every team. Because there will be teams that they'll have a couple of cornerbacks to where maybe we'll let our number 1 cornerback be on their number 1 wide receiver, and we'll double the number 2 wide receiver, or we'll put our best cornerback on the number 2, and we'll double the number. We'll put our best cornerback on the number 2 receiver, and then we'll double the number 1 receiver. So there are schemes to where you can somewhat kind of work with that. And so it is important now that Jake Ferguson is healthy. And it's important that the number 3 wide receiver on this team is ready to go, and most of all, ready to eat. They need to be ready to eat. Straight up, they need to be ready to eat, man. They need to be ready to eat. So that becomes the question. Who will be the number 3 receiver? Who will emerge as the number 3 receiver? So between Mingo and Tolbert, it's going to be huge. I think developing also number 9 story, and I think it's developing. Cornerbacks. We're watching the story, watching the films on Trayvon Diggs. He's showing his rehab thing. You know, he's got that going on. Savon Revel Jr. When does he get into the training camp? Kyer Elam. What will he look like? Very important for us to really start looking at those stories, because we need to know who's going to be our doggone cornerback or cornerbacks. And I'm going to tell you, boy, we have an opportunity this season. As much as I don't believe the Cowboys are going to keep one Trayvon Diggs, you know what I want to see? I do want to see Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs, and Savon Revel Jr. on the field at the same time. I want to see it. That's a championship level secondary. I want to see it. I want to see that happen. Could you imagine having that as your defensive backfield? Savon Revel Jr., Trayvon Diggs back at full strength, and Deron Bland? Boy. Hey, man. That's championship level. That's a championship level secondary right there. It really is. And then as we move to the safeties, that's my 10th story. I want to see Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas win those safety positions. I want to see if they can step up and win those safety positions. Can they do it? I want to see, can they do it? We're going to put an asterisk by CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I'm not even going to rate that because there's really no competition there. All we just got to do is watch those guys do what they do. And then finally, for me, in number 11, as far as big stories, UDFAs, undrafted free agents. Trayshawn Holden. I have not forgot about Trayshawn Holden. I have not forgot about this. I really want to see what happens with Trayshawn Holden. I mean, he's got an uphill battle, man. He got to beat out Ryan Flournoy, who I think is going to be a beast. He's a bigger wide receiver. And again, we're already talking about Mingo. We don't have to worry about Turpin. He already going to be on the squad. And then, of course, we got Tolbert, Jalen Brooks. We'll see. Maybe even Jalen Brooks could even make a step this year. The wide receiver room is going to be crazy because everybody's going to be battling for the number 3 spot. They really are. And probably some rotation at the number 4 spot, but they're going to be battling. They are. And so when I think about UDFAs, there are about 4 of these guys that I have my eye on. One of them is Trayshawn Holden. But there's another guy that has been brought to my attention. Pro Football Focus did a huge profile on this guy. And let's see, which one of them is it? I think it's Justin Barron. If I'm not mistaken, Justin Barron got the largest or one of the largest. Justin Barron. I think he got the largest signing bonus or guarantee for any undrafted free agent or something to that effect. And Pro Football Focus, again, Pro Football Focus did a profile on him, and they were talking about that this dude may be one of the sleeper. They're saying that he may be one of the sleeper undrafted free agents in the league. I mean, they're really saying that Justin Barron is that good. So, again, man, these OTA storylines, those are my 11 storylines. I'm going to put an asterisk beside CeeDee Lamb and, again, George Pickens, so it's really kind of 12. But my number 1 is the coaching staff. My number 2 is Dak's participation. My number 3 is Michael's participation. Number 4 is going to be the battle between Will Grier and Joe Milton III. My number 5 is Deuce Vaughn, and I'm going to just put Deuce Vaughn in the running back room. Deuce Vaughn is the biggest question to me in that running back room. But Deuce Vaughn in the running back room is number 5. Number 6 is Mozzie Smith. Will he make another step? Number 7 for me, Tyler Guyton. Number 8, Mingo Tolbert. Number 9, the cornerbacks. Where are we with that? I even saw today Josh Butler. He's posting video online. He's talking about how he's rehabbing and coming back together real good. Safety position, because I do think we need an upgrade there. And then number 11, the UDFAs, Trayshawn Holden and the Barron kid. I really want to see, where do they show up? And then, you know what? I'm going to put number 12. I'm going to come back later on. I'm going to put this in a more organized list. And then I'm going to do 12 just to kind of make it an even number. Big story for me. The Dallas Cowboys post June 1st pickups. Who will the Cowboys pick up post June 1st? Who will they pick up? There are going to be people available. I want to see if the Cowboys, I know we've all been, a lot of people have been saying Cowboys need a one tech. So let's see. Will they go get a one tech? Will they try to maybe improve at the cornerback position? What will they do? But the Cowboys, man, the Cowboys, I also want to see if do they make another trade? DJ Reader's name's been out there quite a bit. The dude said it's been 10 years since I've been. Man, is Golden Corral even still around? Boy, I used to love Golden Corral, man. Big Cloud, he said, honestly, having another defensive line piece is a must. Yeah, even if it's only for depth. Yeah, again, that's why I got it as a big storyline. I have that as a huge storyline as it pertains to the Cowboys. Robert Dudley, yes, sir. He's got Tyler Guyton, Ferguson, and Mozzie Smith. I don't have Ferguson on here, but yeah, I agree. Ferguson is a big deal. Chanel in the crib, what's going on? Chanel, he mentions Mozzie. He said Mozzie is light in the butt and Tyler Guyton needs to be moved to right tackle, his natural collection position. So let me address that first. Yeah, I think what kind of messed up Mozzie again, though, was Dan Quinn with the weight loss. Then he gains it back. And now we got to see what he is. So I'm hoping also he makes another step, and I expect him to do so. And again, Tyler Guyton. A lot of people have expressed Tyler Guyton being moved back to right tackle. Issue is, then that moves Terrence Steele. So then do you move Austin Richards up to left tackle? And that's probably something that you have to consider. And again, he says, and no, Tolbert can't beat out Mingo. Wow. Okay. I want to see it. And CD and Pickens are ones, and Mingo is the two. Yeah, because I can tell you for sure, we definitely got two number ones. The dude, he says, I think you got to roll with the defensive line for training camp, but wait and see as the season goes on, so if any other pieces might open up. And again, I want to see what happens post June 1st. I think if there's something too good, you gotta try to make a run at it. Keek said for him, time's up for Schoon. He's 26 or 27 in his third year. Yeah. Chris Danzler, he says facts. Freight Train, he says easy time. Yes, sir. Luis Ortiz, he said Bell and Thomas are done deals. Harmon and Clark, both Syracuse boys, will be backups. Oh, yeah. I am definitely. I don't think they signed Bell for nothing. Chris Danzler, he says Lamb, Pickens, Mingo, Holden, Turp is already fired. Yeah, it's going to be good, man. Big Cloud, he says, I believe we are getting one more addition that's going to be the icing on the cake for this year. You know what, Big Cloud? I'm thinking two. I'm thinking the Cowboys are going to make two more moves. I really do. For some reason, I just feel like they're going to make two more moves. I really think they're going to make a couple of more moves. And they may even make three moves. Because one of the moves I do expect the Cowboys to make is Stephon Gilmore. I just expect that move to be made for some reason. I will not be surprised if the Cowboys bring in Stephon Gilmore. Matt D, he said, gee, who put you on the liking the Cowboys? He said, my dad and grandfather were Cowboy fans, and I grew up watching them, always watching the Cowboys, and fell in love with this team as a kid. He says, what is your story? Man, I don't remember no other team. From the time I could remember, and I'm talking 4 years old, Matt D, my dad was a Dallas Cowboys fan. Huge Dallas Cowboys fan. That's all I ever remember. That's it. Now, my grandfather didn't watch, but my father was an avid watcher of the Cowboys and some of the men and women in my family. But my father's the one who instilled the Cowboys in me, man. I mean, from the get-go. And I remember when I turned like 12 years old, man, I wanted a Dallas Cowboy football suit for Christmas. My mom, man, she went down to a place called Massey and Brown back in the day. And she didn't get me one of them kind that people were getting their kids where it was like in a box with a fake helmet and, you know, the uniform, you know, it might cost like 30 or 40 bucks. Man, my mom went all out, man, and got me an official. I mean, my mom went all out. I mean, the official helmet, man, everything. The jersey, got me Roger Staubach jersey, man, the whole 9 yards, man. Boy, I used to go outside, boy, and kids would be oohing and ahhing and laughing. You know, the girls would be laughing. Man, I'm like 11 years old going outside in a full football suit. Man, boy, I've been with them Cowboys since 4 years of age, man. Chanel said, gee, I want to see if Trey Hendrickson would consider playing for Dallas. Oh, I believe he would. He's already cut off negotiations with the Cincinnati Bengals. I would love for him to come to the Cowboys. He says, as I believe he is going to sit out this season. The team offered 28. He turned it down. Ooh. Said, I would offer him 29 and a half as we have it. Wow. I didn't know he turned down $28 million. Wow. Final haul. Hey, man. I know that, Nick Chubb, I think he had the knee or down the foot. Man, I'd love to bring in Nick Chubb. Whoa, I'd love to bring in Nick Chubb. Yeah, the dude, me and you both was talking about Hendrickson, man. The dude has 34 sacks in the last 2 seasons, 17 and a half sacks, back-to-back seasons. Man, that's crazy work. Matt D said, put Deuce on the line with Mozzie Smith. He can be out. He can be Rudy before he gets the boot. Yeah, they may have to cover on, man. Yeah, Louise said, I want to see Toia against BB. Yes, sir. Poobie D, he said, I have Golden Corral. Boy, that's good eating, Poobie D. Boy, Golden Corral is good eating, man. All right. Guys, I have a birthday party to go to. So I'm going to give you the thing about, I told you about the offensive preview. I'm going to come back with that as it pertains to Brian Schottenheimer. I am going to blow our minds on this research I did with Brian Schottenheimer and why I believe that we are in for one of the most incredible seasons we've seen in a long time. Chanel said, G, also tell me why these teams have the weakest schedule in the NFL. 49ers, Patriots, Saints, Falcons, Buffalo Bills, who were 13. Hey, Chanel, let me tell you something. I can tell you about the Buffalo Bills. They're trying to get the Buffalo Bills to the Super Bowl. Yeah, you got to tell me. They're trying to get the Buffalo Bills to the Super Bowl. They really are. And the Buffalo Bills are trying to get to the Super Bowl too. Yeah, they're trying to get there. But again, hey, Chanel, I just think something's strange. Dallas Cowboys, all these primetime games, the schedule they have, boy, this is setting up to be something crazy, man. And then I think they got the Netflix special. Big Cloud. Hey, man, you saying something. This team is going to be special. I like everything that's going on. Big Cloud, something's going on. I don't think they're just doing this for the money. Something is going on. Woo, P-Funk, you back there, man. He said, I've been a Cowboy fan since Bob Hayes. Yes, sir. That man changed the league with speed. The dude said, I still remember my grandpa hating Jimmy Johnson one moment, mostly for the Landry firing and bad first season, to then calling him, yes, sir, calling him the greatest NFL coach ever, the next. Hey, the dude, that happened for a lot of people, man. And it was really the way they ran Tom Landry out of town. And that's kind of what did it. And then, like I said, man, once they won a Super Bowl, everybody changed their mind on them. Yes, sir. 86 Bears were the team I remember having me first watching the ball. I was 6 and wanted to be Jim McMahon. Boy, Jim McMahon was so cool that Super Bowl year, man. Louise, I believe it. Our defense is going to be amazing, especially if we can kind of shore up this one tech that everybody's talking about. Terrence LeBird, he says, starting to trust your podcast a bit more. Cowboy fans, super team, all pros at every position is not what we need. We need every player on the 53-man roster to do what Bill Belichick said to do. Yes, sir. Terrence, appreciate you. Terrence, in the immortal words of, and you got the word, you stole the words right out of my mouth. In the words of Bill Belichick, do your job. Straight up. Do your job, man. Richard, hey, they want to prove a point in these primetime games. I think something is brewing, Richard. Chanel, if we can get to 10-7 with this schedule, this team has something. I think they're going to be better than that. I do. Appreciate you, Chanel. I'm about to get out of here. Lord Nova, you get the last word. Lord Nova says, I think the Cowboys are going to make another move too, G. And my uncle made me a Cowboys fan. Yes, sir. Let me get 2 more. Let me get a few more here. Hold on. Jeremiah. He said, I've been watching my boys since Landry. Yeah. Hey, Jeremiah, people do not remember. Tom Landry was the ultimate class, man. Suit and a hat every single Sunday. Yes, sir. Louise, he said, rest in peace to the quiet man. Yes, sir. He was quiet, but he was a man. He was crazy with it. P-Funk, you get the last word. We have to stay healthy. All right, guys. I'll be back tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. And I'll be dropping some more videos in between. I'm pretty sure there'll be some things coming out about OTAs, and I'll be reporting on that too. Man, I appreciate the support. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Love you all. Peace.